And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. I got my unique prepping shirt on today. Shout out to Z-Man. If you're not already subscribed, hop over to YouTube and follow Unique Prepping. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Common Censored. All of you censored commoners, this is episode 269, and I'm Lord Sterling. Jeff Bezos rips his own company, WaPo. Hilariously, Washington Post talking about their long and continuing fall in credibility. The capitulation continues. They can see the writing on the wall. The rats are leaving the sinking ship. Big Tech also sued by schools over addictive properties as Elon Musk seems to endorse Ron Paul's and the Fed. And we love Ed. What's up, Ed? I see you over there begging for love in the chat. I hope you're well, brother. Make sure to join us Monday through Friday, 6:45 p.m.-ish Eastern time as we cover all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that is 2024. Use hashtag Common Censored and hashtag infantry when you share the broadcast and help act as force multipliers to accelerate and exacerbate the Great Awakening in the face of the global communist takeover, stopping those commies dead in their tracks, metaphorically in Minecraft for now. FBI's asshole, fuck you. You can find us on X at Lord Sterling _. Thanks again to all of our new followers over on Rumble. Links to all of the stories and articles and videos and everything we cover will be posted down in the video description immediately following the broadcast. So if you're watching this later and need to maximize the efficiency of your time and attention, click down there, find the various topics that we cover that might be interesting to you. And Mama Mac will be adding timestamps throughout the broadcast so you can jump right to the point in the show where we talk about the things that you want to hear. Make sure to hit up alplama.com, ALPLAMA.com, and throw Mama Mac some love. And if you want to support the show directly, you can hit up our link tree at Common Censored. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom! All right, let's jump into the news. What do we got to start today? Oh, I got to share my screen. That might help a little bit over here. 1 second as I grab the article. All right, here we go. We've got Big Tech being sued by schools. Bloomberg reporting, and I've got the archive over here. Meta, Google, TikTok must face schools' addiction claims. Federal judge lets claims proceed after state judge declined. Companies face significant exposure from hundreds of cases. Uh-oh, they're getting your kids addicted and keeping them distracted from school.
They're keeping them distracted from school, guys.
Isaiah Poritz wrote this one at Bloomberg Law. Meta Platforms, Inc., Google, TikTok, and Snap will have to face lawsuits brought by school districts in federal court blaming their, quote, addictive, unquote, apps for contributing to a mental health crisis among students. I'd say that's probably accurate. Threeper, what's going on with Flynn tonight? Shoot us a link, bro. Good to see you guys over in chat. Anderson Inc. What's up, Sean? If you're in Connecticut and need tattoos, hit up my boy Sean at Anderson Inc. He'll take good care of you. The ruling Thursday by U.S. District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers in Oakland, California follows a contrasting June 7th decision by a Los Angeles Superior Court judge in favor of the companies. The split leaves the platforms potentially on the hook for damages in more than 150 cases before Rogers, even as they're poised to dodge liability for claims in more than 600 other cases filed in Los Angeles. Man, big tech is in trouble. Z-Man, I see you over there. You see my shirt, bro? See my shirt? Unique Prepping on YouTube. Good to see you, Zach. Hope all is well. Rogers generally denied a request for dismissal of negligence claims, but narrowed the scope of allegations that will proceed. She concluded that some claims are barred by Section 230 pirate-style bar of the Communications Decency Act, a longstanding federal law shielding internet companies from lawsuits. Google and Meta spokespersons denied wrongdoing, saying their companies have taken steps to keep young users safe on the platforms. Well, that's not what the one of the co-founders of one of these, I think it was Facebook, said, where they intentionally designed it to be addictive and basically targeted kids, allegedly. Snap also cited its safety initiatives and pointed to research showing that its Snapchat has a positive impact on the well-being of users. Sure. TikTok didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The ruling comes just over a week after Rogers ruled that Meta must face a lawsuit by dozens of state attorneys general, alleging it knowingly hooked kids on Facebook and Instagram platforms. Yeah, probably stemming from that testimony that I was just talking about from one of the Facebook founders, alleged founders, CIA, InQtel, LifeLog. TikTok faces similar claims by a coalition of states. Both companies have denied wrongdoing. I want to see the Rumble lawsuit go forward at the Supreme Court against Google for manipulating the search results and giving preferential treatment to their own companies and basically completely blacklisting Rumble from the Google search results. Could we see YouTube be freed and Google be broken up? Hopefully. These companies also face significant exposure from hundreds of personal injury suits accusing them of designing their platforms to encourage youth to spend unhealthy amounts of time on screens. But the school cases may carry bigger potential monetary damages because each district seeks to recoup institutional costs from the negative repercussions of having hundreds of individual students hooked on social media. Man, I can't even imagine what it must be like to be in school nowadays with cell phones and social media. Back in 2005, when I was graduating high school, none of this stuff existed, basically. It was when I was in Boston that Facebook came out. MySpace was around maybe for a little bit, but people didn't have smartphones, constantly being distracted from class and from what's being taught. It must be just a total shit show in school right now. I can't even imagine it. The repercussions, the negative repercussions from social media must be astronomical. The school districts alleged that companies engineered their platforms to addict kids by using algorithms and features such as the, quote, like button in ways that hurt society, akin to cigarette manufacturers that designed their products to be addictive. Compulsive use. Yeah, the teacher's trying to talk and you just keep looking at your cell phone. Keep looking at your cell phone. Rogers said this. I see people driving looking at their cell phone. It's nuts. Rogers said the school's core legal theory was viable. The social media companies, quote, deliberately fostered compulsive use of their platforms, which foreseeably caused, unquote, the school districts to spend resources on combating the mental health crisis among students. Google spokesperson Jose Castaneda said in a statement that the allegations aren't true. We didn't do it, guys. We're innocent. Tulip McGroin, good to see you. Quote, in collaboration with youth, mental health, and parenting experts, we built services and policies to provide young people with age-appropriate experiences. Just like Diddy, allegedly. And parents with robust controls. Yeah, right. A Meta spokesperson said in a statement that the company disagrees with the court's decision. Quote, we've developed numerous tools to support parents and teens, and we've recently announced that we're significantly changing the Instagram experience for tens of millions of teens with the new Teen Accounts, a protected experience for teens that automatically limits who can contact them and the content they see. I'm sure there's no workarounds for any of that stuff, though, according to the statement. More information about that, if you want, link will be in the description. You can finish reading through the rest of it. Let's jump over to some election updates next. First, we'll hop over to Citizen Free Press. Kaboom! At Citizen Free Press with one S. over on X. Republicans take lead in New Jersey early voting. The dirty Jers. Can you believe it? New Jersey early ballot totals 144,000, 38% for Republicans, leading by 4,581, with Democrats at 36.8% and 139,524 votes. And independent people are voting independent, 25%, 25.2 for independent. Unbelievable. 95,447 votes for independent. You motherfuckers out there better not be voting for Robert F. Kennedy instead of Donald Trump, or we'll find you like the Stride Gum people allegedly in Minecraft. Yes, the Reaper cell phone signal killers in all schools might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea. Wrap the whole school in a Faraday cage. That's what I say. Just like we should be doing standard construction for every house, every room, every house should be Faraday protected to protect us from the wires and all the crazy signals that we're being hit with constantly. Ooh, look, Reveille posting the same thing. Same in Sarasota County, Florida. Unofficial turnout Republicans, holy balls, with almost half the vote. 75,247, and Demon Rats leading by a margin of about a third. Trailing by a margin of about a third with only 45,845 votes. Paul Danner posted in the comments, as a registered New Jersey independent, I cast my vote for Trump today. Yeah! So maybe this is just counting what party they're registered as. And if this is the case, and most of these independents are voting for Republican, for Trump, then we could be like really, really leading in the early votes in these states. Hopefully, guys, hopefully. We'll just have to wait and see. We have another little bit of disturbing news for the Demon Rats over there, posted by Eric Doherty on X. New. The Economist 2024 election forecast update. The Economist, the Rothschild rag propaganda outlet, predicting Trump has a 56% chance of winning, leading Harris at a 44% chance of winning. Billdozer, what's up? Heard you had a good show last night. Sorry I couldn't tune in, brother. Man, this is crazy. Battleground estimates, they're estimating Michigan with Harris up 0.5% in the odds, but Trump up by at least a point in all the other swing states except Nevada with only 0.2% lead. This is crazy, though. The Economist. Look at this. Jeremy Hain posting, The Economist is the Rothschild rag. They've accepted a landslide. Well done, America. Just log your vote. Take the win. Let's see what Dad does when he gets home. Yeah, if the Economist is saying that Trump is likely to win, there's, the Democrats are in trouble. They're in trouble. The Economist is owned by the Rothschilds. It's a straight up commie globalist propaganda outfit. So when they're saying that Trump is leading, they know something that other people may not be aware of, and it's not looking good. We got a post by this dude, Mark Mitchell, over at Rasmussen Reports, at Mark_R_Mitchell, responding to the quartering, talking about how there's accusations going around, speculation. That's right, Sean. I forgot about that. You can't say the word demon without saying damn. You can't spell demon without damn. That's fucking awesome. So true, Sean. So true. I got to put that comment up on the screen real quick for you, for you guys. Add that to the memory banks. You gotta make that a thing because that's a really good one. I'm stealing it, Sean. I'm stealing it. The quartering saying, important point here. I see a lot of X engagement accounts touting how Republican early voting is some sort of indication of a Trump landslide/red wave. He says it isn't. We have no idea if we're just pulling forward from Election Day, given the big push to vote early. Vote, vote, vote. What people are saying, some polling people are saying that the early voting on the Republicans' part this time around is cannibalizing the Election Day voting. So it's looking like we're leading, but then we're not going to have anybody left to vote on Election Day. I'm voting on Election Day, just for the record. But Mark Mitchell over at Rasmussen is saying, my polling is starting to show they aren't cannibalizing Election Day turnout. Trump is still winning Election Day votes in the states I've polled this week, Virginia, New Hampshire, Minnesota, and Texas. So, yeah, I agree with the Corday. I hope you're right. Hopefully we're not cannibalizing the vote by going out and voting early, and we still got plenty of reserves to take the lead on Election Day as well. Yeah, Gator, that's a crazy story. I got that coming up in a moment as well. We also have Tampon Tim doubling down on the bullshit Madison Square Garden 1939 Nazis narrative. Trump War Room at Trump War Room posting this one on X. Breaking! Tampon Tim says he stands by his comments comparing Americans attending President Trump's Madison Square rally to Nazis. We're running out of sharks to jump, guys.
You said over the weekend, referring to it, there's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden.
Well, look,
you were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
Look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they can.
What are you
You
talking
stand by
about?
the comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
This guy's such a fucking loser. Did you see Elon Musk on stage at MSG? The energy in this arena is incredible. It's amazing. It was all positive. It was all happy. There was no hate. This guy is so full of shit. His eyes are turning brown. I can see it oozing out of his ears. Absolutely ridiculous. So Tim Walz just being a total clown as usual. Look at this. Serwin Live posted this. This is so good. No serious person stands like this. Look at him. He's got the floppy wrist and everything. Ha! Gay! Right? Tim Walz is a clown. Total clown. Moving on to the next story. This is what Gator was just posting about in the chat. Voter suppression. Bucks County Emergency Services shuts down Doylestown voting line as early as Republicans surge on the final day. They're shutting down the polls. They're supposed to close at 5 and they're closing them at like 1:30. 1:30, 2:30. Outrage is building as reports indicate Bucks County Emergency Services shut down the Doylestown in-person voting line on the final day for absentee ballot requests. This outrageous act of disenfranchisement comes after prominent voices, including Elon Musk and conservative activist Scott Presler, who we need statues of after we win, for getting people registered on our side, encouraged Pennsylvanians to turn out and take advantage of every last opportunity to cast their votes. Elon took to social media to rally Pennsylvanians, urging, quote, "This is the last day you can request an absentee ballot in Pennsylvania. Moreover, you can hand it in immediately in person, so it never touches the mail. Please bring anyone you know to vote today." Similarly, Presler emphasized the step-by-step process for those seeking in-person, on-demand mail-in ballots. But it wasn't good enough as James Blair, political director of the Trump campaign, and the RNC shared a video of Bucks County Emergency Services shutting down the Doylestown voting line. According to Bucks County election website, Doylestown was scheduled to close at 5 p.m., but nope. Reports are they're closing at least as early as 2:30. Buckstown Emergency Services shut down the Doylestown voting line early despite Democrat Governor Josh Shapiro's assurance that counties would accommodate anyone in line by 5 p.m. He even posted this on X. Today is the last day to apply for your mail-in ballot in Pennsylvania. You forgot the hyphen, dumbass. If you are in line at a county elections office by 5 p.m., counties must give you an opportunity to apply for your mail-in ballot, for your mail ballot. Our Pennsylvania Department of State is working with all counties to ensure every eligible voter who wants to vote by mail ballot can do so until we shut down the lines. Here we go. James Blair posting, "What are you doing about this, Governor Shapiro?" This is Bucks County Emergency Services shutting down the line in Doylestown right now at approximately 2:30 p.m. This is suppressive and intimidating. Yeah, what the hell is going on? They're sabotaging us.
It's 2:41 and they are ending the line.
Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. We have DC Drano posting over here. Listen, as this Pennsylvania cop says they cut the early voting line at 1:45 p.m. in Quakerstown, Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro said it had to stay open until 5 p.m. They're trying to steal Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little spying. Looks like people are online still. Let's see what's going on.
That's right, Ed. Danger zone.
There you go. That's it. Hey, that's your job. Keep the peace. That's it. You know. All right. So that's it. That's a mail-in. That's a on.
No, that's a box of other forms. That's a box of.
Is that the one?
I have a question. I have to bring someone here about 4 o'clock to vote. Are they
I'm
gonna?
going to ask you to talk to
Are they
this.
gonna turn everyone down?
I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I get you. Here's
Why
what
is it
happened.
closed?
Let me explain it to you.
Please.
Okay.
It's pure evil!
The process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
It doesn't matter if we're online.
I feel so bad for you.
We have the
The
right
reason
to
why it
vote.
had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this. Slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have
they
to
had
wait
to-
till everyone's.
They had to cut
doesn't-
the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Illegal.
This is voter fraud, by the way. Who are not. Yes, it is.
Election
voter
fraud, not
protection.
voter fraud.
I heard about that on X. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Contact
Voter protection. Let's see what that's
contact
from.
the county commissioners to complain.
This is, and so you don't think this is voter fraud?
Voter fraud is when voters commit fraud. Election fraud is when it's institutionally defrauded by the system itself.
This is voter fraud. See that, everyone? They cut the line, even though we have till 4:30. Election fraud here in Bucks County.
These people are
And you have
unmitigated
Don't you
scumbags.
care? I mean, like, really? This is ridiculous.
Josh Shapiro, we'll make sure that everybody that's in line by 5 gets a chance to vote. In other words, we'll cut the line at 5, and then even if there's a lot of people, we'll keep it going. We just won't add new people to the line after 5 until everybody's taken care of. Doesn't matter how many people. And then he's saying the exact opposite. Well, there were so many people that we had to cut it at 1:40. The whole point was to cut it at 5 because you were expecting a lot of people to show up. This is criminal, man.
Do you have a certificate to be a poll watcher?
I don't have to answer you, and you may leave.
No, this is a public place. I don't have to. Because I see your tag, and
You don't have the right to talk to me. So
this is America and a public place, so I have every right to talk to you.
Yeah, what are you fucking talking
So,
about?
are you a poll?
These are the commie shitbags that want to take over America. You don't have the right to talk to me. Excuse me. This is public property. I have free speech rights. I can talk to whoever the fuck I want to. Well, who the fuck is this fucking blueberry-looking bitch over here with the same dimensions as a blueberry?
Poll watcher?
I am here for early vote monitoring.
For early vote monitoring.
Maybe a plum.
Early vote monitoring. Early
You
vote
do not
monitoring.
have my permission.
Oh, you're trying to touch the camera now? Oh,
Give it
Do you
down.
know the law?
my fist just balled.
Oh, you do. So then, do you know
touch
that I'm
the camera,
allowed to
knock you
videotape
out,
in
bitch.
public?
No, you don't have
In Minecraft.
Yes, I do. This is public.
I have told you, you do
This is
not.
public.
First Amendment. Thank you.
Do you have
Oh
a
man, this is
certificate?
getting me mad. This is getting me so mad. Oh, they're breaking the rules, guys. They're trying to stop us from being able to dominate the early votes. Yeah, exactly, Gator. There ain't no cure for her affliction, unfortunately. It's fucking beyond curable. Ugh, man. This is absolutely maddening. Everybody should be mad about this. Someone just posted in the chat too this. Ann Vandersteel at Ann Vandersteel on X posting illegal, quote, voters, unquote, cutting the line again. Look at this bullshit in Pennsylvania swing state. Figures. Buses of non-English speaking, quote, citizens, unquote, are guided past Americans who had been waiting in line for hours to cast Their early votes, excuse me. These people, all wearing Harris Walls stickers, were directed through the voting process by a handful of, quote, translators. They can't get people at her rallies, so they gotta bus them in. They can't get motherfuckers to vote, so they gotta bus in illegals to vote. This is ridiculous. Does this sound like the America you grew up in? How is this constitutionally lawful?
No, they had these people, they had about 12 of them walked in. They were all foreigners. And then they took them up. These younger people helped them to fill out they say vote PA today. Yep. And then they took them up and somehow they beat a 2-hour line. And then they walked up and the one lady, they were even asking her, they're like, we don't have you in the system. Your name's not right. And they're like, oh, well, we'll take it back and change it. Yeah. How do you change your damn name?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Bro, this is outrageous. I was not expecting that gunshot. That was cool. Taco Tuesday and Anderson egg. That's mean. That's hilarious, though. Fucking hell. This is insane. This is insane. And it's not only Josh Shapiro sabotaging people by saying, come on out to vote till 5, and then cutting it early. We got Pee Wee Herman over here, Democrat Mayor Matt Turk, stopping a Trump rally in Allentown, Pennsylvania, as well. He came for a viral clip, trying to look like a big man, shutting down a rally, but left with a viral clip looking as small as he actually is. This dude put out a public announcement saying that this whole block would be closed for this rally, allegedly, apparently, according to the other dude in the video. And then he shows up trying to shut it down.
You said it 3 times. And then all of a sudden, you let the traffic come through, and I'm trying to put out bike rack while dodging cars at the same time. Don't. You think I'm gonna fucking take it off now?
Look at this shrimp.
Put yourself in danger. Oh yeah, well then we got cars coming in from all 4 intersections while I'm in the middle of it. Oh really? Yes. You put out a press statement yesterday. The city did, saying that this entire block was closed on Apple Maps. You know what it shows? It shows this entire intersection closed. Look it up. You think I'm gonna remove the barricades now? Yeah, you're out of your fucking mind. Don't ever pull that shit on me again. The entire police force was confused. Yeah, go ahead and call your chief, please. You're gonna open it up while the trucks are right there too. Really? You got our food trucks right there. This is nuts.
These people hate America. They hate freedom. They hate anybody who likes those two things.
They can't walk around to the other side. Why don't you walk it with me? Let's walk. Oh really? Am I being a problem? I'm not the one who lied.
Good for this guy standing up for himself.
You tried to pull some fake shit on the permits. Oh really? You're laughing? You told us Saturday it was fine. And then you say we can't have our...
You fuckers better hope that you can steal this election, because if you can't, we're gonna prosecute to a level never before seen. Because for so long in this country, we've just not prosecuted people if they're politicians. But that's over. Trump wins. We are coming for you. You break the law. You suppress the vote. You violate people's rights. You are going to prison. Or maybe worse, after due process, FBI's SO.
Border potties there? Really? Okay, go ahead and fucking call them. You're saying you're trying to pull that permit shit on us? You told us we could do that. Oh, really? You got to pull a permit now? Oh, okay, yeah, right. Come on now. Oh, really? Election is 8 days away. You said we could close up this entire intersection. And then the day of, you show up in a fresh suit with all your cameras, trying to show like you're big and strong that you can shut this down. Oh, yeah?
That's right, Phil.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay, why don't we walk it? Why don't we walk it right now? Let's go and walk it. What are they, Arnold Schwarzenegger? They don't do anything crazy.
Lady H! What's up, Lady H? Good to see ya. Yeah, Sean, I feel ya. Like Master P, except not in a good way. Oh, man, highly frustrating. We got sketchy stuff going down in D.C. as well. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene sounding the alarm after Capitol Police conduct a late-night, quote, casualty evacuation exercise. With 12 helicopters buzzing over the Capitol Hill, they're planning to maintain control of the Capitol, she says, to lock down D.C. to prevent Trump from being able to be sworn in. Allegedly, the U.S. Capitol Police, in coordination with federal agencies, conducted a casualty evacuation exercise Monday night, just over a week before Election Day. In a public notice, the U.S. Capitol Police stated, quote, "Exercise. This evening, the United States Capitol Police and our federal partners are conducting a routine training exercise on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol. Please do not be alarmed if you see emergency vehicles and low-flying helicopters." What the hell is going on? This exercise took place 1 week after the Capitol Police conducted a campus-wide evacuation drill. Exercise. This morning at approximately 10 a.m., we will have a campus-wide evacuation exercise. The routine drill is in coordination with our legislative branch partners. Expect temporary street closures to include Constitution Avenue, Independence Avenue, and D Street, Northeast. Capitol Police wrote on Monday, October 21st. So what is going on? The timing of this exercise, coming just as the 2024 elections approach, has raised alarms among some conservative leaders, including Rep. MTG. Green has issued a stark warning about what she believes is a calculated move by Democrats to secure control over the Capitol ahead of January 6th, the date designated for certification of the presidential election. In a statement to her supporters, Green argued that the Democrats are ramping up security measures in Washington not to protect the people, but to further entrench their hold on the government should they lose seats in the House. This is insane. Doesn't look like there's actually a video, so let's hop over to her X post where she broke her opinion. Capitol Police hold casualty evacuation exercise at the Capitol with multiple helicopters last night. Stay with me on this. Trump told us to make it too big to rig, and we are on our way to making that happen as long as everyone votes for Trump. But we are in danger of losing the House, with approximately 20 House seats literally too close. Without the House, we cannot pass critical legislation to bring forward our MAGA agenda. We need a full sweep. We need the House, the Senate, and the presidency, obviously. But also, if Democrats control the House, they will refuse to certify President Trump's election on January 6th, just like Jamie Ratkins was saying. They've already said they won't certify. Leading into this election, in just the past months, Democrats are making big moves to secure the Capitol in January for certification on the 6th. Last night, Capitol Police conducted a casualty evacuation exercise on the East Front with multiple choppas. This comes after the DoD signed off on military force to be used to assist police against the American people. Mayorkas designating January 6th as a quote, special security event through Homeland Security. Mayor Bowser of D.C. requesting security for January 6th and announcement of fencing to be erected January 5th through 21st. What are they planning? While security is always important, demon rats are the party of riots. You can't spell demon without dem, right, Sean? Violence and destruction. That's right. Democrat are the party of riots, violence, and destruction. If they lose, they don't care about securing anything. They nearly burned down Washington on Trump's inauguration in 2017, rioted nightly during 2020, called us Nazis and Trump Hitler for years, and shot Trump in the face. But they are ramping up mass security for the Capitol because they're planning to maintain control of the Capitol by winning the House. Trump's momentum is too big to stop, and we're watching the polls stopping the steal for Trump, but we're not doing the same thing for critical House races. So maybe if they know Trump is going to win, they focus less on the presidential steal, and they focus more on stealing House seats. So that Trump wins, everybody's excited, but then they use their manipulation to steal House seats, neutralizing MAGA by cutting off Trump's legs beneath him and preventing us from having legislative capabilities. So that's something we got to worry about now, is them letting Trump win, but then stealing House elections. This is pretty wild. And if Trump wins the White House, Republicans win the Senate, but we lose the House, demon rats will build a fortress of resistance in the House. They will stop everything. They will impeach Trump again, and they will abuse every ounce of power that comes with the House of Representatives. And demon rats see all of us as the enemy. Make sure you vote all the way down ballot for Republicans, and don't skip voting just because you are in an unwinnable Democrat state or a solid Republican state and you don't think your vote matters that much. Yeah, we need to vote, 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 Bigly. Whoa, Trish says they wouldn't let her look at her ballot, nor did they let you touch it. What? You sent an email about what went on? Thanks, I'll check as soon as I have a second. That's insane, Trish. The fix is in, guys. MTG continues. You voting for Trump and that rhino congressman you can't stand is actually the key right now to saving this country. We have to win the presidency, the House, and the Senate. Go vote and win it all. So this is insane. Sassafras84 posting, it's literally freedom versus communism. Where is Speaker Johnson? Refusing to certify an election if Donald Trump wins is treason. When are we going to go after those who try to invalidate our Constitution? When we win. It's time for prosecutions. Bigly. Bigly. That's right, Lady H. That's what I've been saying. She says Senate and Congress, just as important as the presidency. Dale Plemons, with a cool-ass beard over here, posting, great analysis. It's liberty or communist serfdom. Serfdom. Neo-feudalism is what I was thinking in my brain and amalgamating the words together. Stop communism, vote Trump. Yep, let's check in with our next topic over here. Exclusive. Pennsylvania GOP committee woman speaks out after her arrest. She was cuffed to a bench and more. Christina Layla writing this one. Someone shared in the comments yesterday this story about this lady who got arrested merely for encouraging people to stay in line and vote. According to Val Biancaniello, the Demon Rats were discouraging voters from in-person voting on Monday, illegal, in Delaware County, so she encouraged voters to stay in line. Sounds perfectly legal to me. Quote, I was just taken away in handcuffs at the Delaware County, Pennsylvania Government Center for encouraging people to stay in line and vote. She wasn't telling them who to vote for. She was just telling them, keep doing what you're already doing. Mandy! What's up, Mandy J. Lawson? Good to see you. Hope all is well. So let's check out this post from Michael Whatley. I think he's like the RNC chairman. Yeah. As a supporter of President Trump's was arrested yesterday for encouraging people to stay in the early voting line and cast their ballots in Pennsylvania. This follows reports from the Commonwealth that voters are being turned away in conservative areas. This is voter suppression from the left. Do not let them turn you away. Go vote. So here, being arrested.
Wow. That's crazy. You locked her up? That is insane, man. She is not influencing people.
It's not influencing people how to vote. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay in line and vote. You're trying to turn people away from voting. That's illegal.
She is not at all.
Wiley, yeah, research judges. We need to keep good judges and debench the bad ones. And the system is riddled with corrupt, communist, maritime admiralty law judges who will railroad you at the soonest possible opportunity. So yeah, we got to really, really check out the judges situation. Val Biancaniello told Gateway Pundit that she was cuffed to a bench in a holding room and cited for disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. So not an election crime, because what she was doing wasn't illegal. They got her for disorderly conduct. Seemed pretty orderly to me, just saying, stay and vote, guys. Stay and vote. Not very disorderly. Quote, they patted me down. Let's see, do we have a video of this? No, okay, I'll read the quotes. They patted me down and handcuffed me to a bench in a holding room. They let me go after a bit. They had no choice, walking me out of the building, Biancaniello said in a statement to TGP. Quote, I was told I was receiving a disorderly conduct citation in the mail. I was not disorderly, and I broke 0 laws. I was encouraging people, largely Republicans in the long line, to stay in the line and vote. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley urged immediate intervention to address reports of widespread issues at polling sites across Pennsylvania. Biancaniello said a demon rat election worker steered Republican voters to a satellite office to vote where they were told they ran out of voter applications. We're sorry. Totally not intentional to railroad the vote. Quote, in fact, the election worker told people in line to go to the Chester Heights satellite office because the line was shorter there. You know what happened when they got to the Chester Heights office to vote in person? They were told that they ran out of MIB applications, mail-in ballot applications, not Men in Black. This is voter suppression in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. I did nothing wrong except encourage people to stay in line and vote, so they arrested me. Vote, Val Biancaniello said on X. That's right. You just stand up for your rights, encourage people to do the same, and they'll arrest you, Donald Trump style, man. They'll charge you with nothing and make it up. Quote, with only 8 days until Election Day, Pennsylvanians across the Commonwealth deserve every option available to exercise their civic duty, but voters are being turned away, given faulty information, and told their ballots will not be counted. This is nothing short of voter suppression, and we demand immediate action to ensure every legal vote can be cast and counted properly, RNC Chairman Whatley said in a statement. According to the press release, we have received numerous concerning reports from Pennsylvania voters that computers are down, polling sites are closing early, and are not accepting any more voters, and that mail-in ballots will not be counted. This is nuts! This is especially alarming considering the state's governor, Josh Shapiro, posted on X that he cast his mail-in ballot at Montgomery County satellite office without a problem. Figures. That's right, Sean. Pennsylvanians deserve the same effortless experience boasted about by Governor Shapiro's asshole, but county offices appear unable or unwilling to provide it. Insane. They're asking Secretary Schmidt to provide relief immediately, supporting a, quote, free, fair, safe, and secure election as he promised. I don't think that's likely, unfortunately, and today is the last day, and we saw them shut down the lines early, as we covered moments ago. Completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. It's a trap, you know? Just like telling people they can come to a rally, we're shutting down the block, and then they don't shut it down, and everybody's in danger of being hit by cars. Oh, just go to the satellite voting location. They'll get your vote there. Oh, sorry, we ran out of mail-in ballots. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. They're setting us up, luring us away from being able to vote or do regular old activist stuff like rallies. Let's hop over to the next one. Ugh, where's the Hurl Cam? When you need it. All right, let me grab the Hurl Cam real quick for this one. Breaking: unhinged transgender leftist activist arrested for threatening to kill President Trump at Pennsylvania rally days after media claims Trump praised Hitler. These people, they're incorrigible. Oh, what the hell is that? Paul G. Gavinonis arrested for making death threats towards Trump the 25th. A transgender, quote, man. I think this is a transgender woman. Gateway Pundit, you might want to check the copy there, who uses she, her pronouns, was arrested and charged with making a terrorist threat and disorderly conduct for threatening to kill former President Donald J. Trump at his Pennsylvania rally. President Trump held a rally at the Bryce Jordan Center in State College, Pennsylvania on Saturday night. Paul J. Gavinonis, 74, of State College, Pennsylvania, was arrested Friday night while buying passes for Trump's rally just days after The Atlantic dropped a hit piece claiming Trump praised Hitler. It's almost like they want people to go and attack Trump. That's what happens when you say that Hitler's about to be elected. They know exactly what they're doing. According to a witness, Gavinonis said, quote, I hate Donald Trump. I'd like to shoot that guy. And that's Gavinonis saying that, not me. I do not agree with that. In an interview with Secret Service, when asked if he would fatally shoot Donald Trump, Gavinonis said, probably, yeah. Straight up to Secret Service. Obviously, this individual is not well mentally. They're not sending their best, so to speak. Gavinonis was denied bail and is currently detained at Center County Prison. So, this dude, this crazy, mentally unhinged 74-year-old, just straight up telling the Secret Service, yeah, I'd do it. What a lunatic. How about this one? This is crazy, guys. FBI whistleblower tells Congress that former FBI Director James Comey's asshole inserted 2 female agent honeypots inside the Trump 2016 campaign, separate from the Russia hoax investigation. He sent agents to go interrogate Flynn at the White House. Dude, Like the levels of depravity and manipulation are off the charts. Off the charts. So we're just finding out about this now? According to an FBI whistleblower, former director James Comey Asso inserted 2 female agents inside the Trump campaign in 2016. Washington Times reported that the female agents were directed to act as honeypots and travel with Trump and his staff. That's crazy, man. You go to spy school, they teach you how to use your womanly wiles and seduce people and expect you to make sexual contact with people, to honeypot them and to get information via pillow talk and stuff like that. You want to be a spy, you better be ready to get down and dirty with people that you're not interested in. It's hardcore. It's hardcore, man. This was in, quote, off the books operation and was separate from Comey and Obama's Crossfire Hurricane operation that targeted Trump based on false Russian collusion lies. And the Operation Crossfire Hurricane documents are still out there. Trump made copies, took it from the White House allegedly. That's what they were going to Mar-a-Lago to try to retrieve with no luck. So it's possible that they're terrified because Trump still has all the evidence about Crossfire Hurricane and could release it and still prosecute these people. That's right, Mandy. Use those boobies. Use those boobies. Those delicious boobs. Boobs. Yeah. For years now, we have not seen any high-level whistleblowers from the FBI during the debunked Crossfire Hurricane investigation of President Trump. The entire FBI and DOJ was in on this assault on the candidate and then President Trump for years, despite knowing that the entire investigation was based on a lie that Trump was being influenced by Russia and Hitler Putin. Mama Mac. Ho's gonna hoe. That's right. It was later, like Kamala, it was later well documented that it was Hillary Clinton who had created the lie from whole cloth. Hillary was later fined for funding the fake dossier that was used to spy on Trump, his family, his campaign, and his administration. The whistleblower told Congress that the investigation was hidden from DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz, another lackey for the regime. The details of this investigation was kept from President Trump's criminal defense counsels. What's that, a Brady law violation where exculpatory evidence you have to hand over? This is the latest piece of evidence that details the absolute criminal mindset of the current FBI leadership. That's right. They need to be completely eliminated. I'm talking about the FBI as an agency, not, advocating violence toward the people. The FBI itself needs to be completely eliminated, removed. Same with the CIA, smashed into smithereens, burned on the bonfire, so to speak, metaphorically. Washington Times reported former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker said the report, if true, is a, quote, booming, egregious violation, unquote, of the rules governing the Attorney General and the FBI. Quote, it's an unpredicated infiltration of a presidential campaign which is sensitive, he told the Times. Quote, it's sensitive to the point where it would have to have been approved by the Attorney General and would have to be predicated. In this case, I'm not hearing any predication, no cause to justify this type of operation and a spying operation, a devious one at that, using honeypots. These people are evil. It just shows you how aligned they are with the whole Epstein situation and the honeypot operation, the sexual blackmail operation that Epstein and Diddy and the FBI are all involved with, allegedly. It would have to be on the books anyway, regardless, but this was off the books. Mr. Trump launched his first presidential campaign June 16th, etc., and they wasted no time trying to sabotage him immediatamente. What about this one? Gateway Pundit is on point during election season, so expect lots of good information coming out from them. Here's another one. DHS intel reveals Chinese Communist Party marked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as top target for influence in D.C. But not only that, they shared this information, this targeting to use Tim Walz to influence D.C., shared it on the same day that Kamala Harris chose him as a running mate. Is Kamala a CCP agent just like Crooked Joe? Allegedly. Seems like it to me. Department of Homeland Security, DHS, is under scrutiny. I always like that word, scrutiny. Following its noncompliance with a subpoena from the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability, the subpoena issued on September 30th, 2024, requests specific documentation regarding Minnesota Governor Timothy Walz's connections to the Chinese Communist Party. Quote, according to a recently received whistleblower disclosure, according to recently received whistleblower disclosures, we've learned of a non-classified Microsoft Teams group chat among DHS employees and additional intelligence reports that contain information regarding a long-standing connection between the CCP and Minnesota Governor Tampon Tim Walz. The Oversight Committee reported in September specifically. This is a quote also, through whistleblower disclosures, we've learned of a non-classified Microsoft Teams group chat among DHS employees titled, quote, NST NFT Biweekly Sync, unquote, that contains information about Governor Walz that is relevant to our investigation. We've also learned that further relevant information regarding Governor Walz has been memorialized in both classified and unclassified documents in control of the DHS. The Oversight Committee said DHS has not complied. Instead, DHS responded with a letter expressing a commitment to good faith cooperation, but failed to submit any substantive documents about by the October 7th deadline. It's almost like their promise to good faith cooperation was made in bad faith. That's right, the Reaper. Tampon Tim got fanged. We got that story coming up too. Sexual relationships with CCP agents? Ruh-roh, Tampon Tim. You got some splaining to do. In a recent phone call, DHS officials reportedly offered no timeline or assurance of document production. It's Congress's job to make sure you guys are doing your jobs and not breaking the laws and shit. You have to comply. Trump's a dictator. Trump's a fascist. How many times has the Biden administration refused to comply with congressional requests for documents and testimony? It's insane. And not people that have executive privilege, like people directly in contact with Trump, like Steve Bannon and stuff. We're talking about entire agencies just refusing to comply with congressional subpoenas and requests for documents and everything. It's insane. Committee Chairman James Comer voiced his frustration. James Comey is asshole. James Comer is opposite of asshole. Voiced his frustration with DHS's apparent reluctance to cooperate, prompting him to release a segment of the DHS internal documents. According to the committee, whistleblower documents reveal that DHS officials were discussing concerns about the CCP targeting Governor Walz on the same day Vice President Kamala Harris selected him as a running mate. Internal communications for the, quote, nation-state threat national functional team, unquote, indicate that the CCP marked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as a primary, quote, target, unquote, for influence in U.S. politics because he's a CCP lackey. How many times did he visit China? Like 30? Quote, because of DHS's lack of compliance with the committee's legal subpoena and unwillingness to cooperate in good faith, the committee is releasing a small portion of the department's internal communications it received from a whistleblower. Arrest everybody! Just arrest the entire DHS and replace them. These people are crooked beyond repair. You can't fix it. It's time for a chainsaw, not a chisel, as Vivek says, metaphorically, of course. The information shows DHS officials with subject matter expertise discussing, on the same day Vice President Kamala Harris selected Governor Walz as a running mate, the CCP's targeting of Governor Walz. It's almost like the CCP said, hey, Kamala, here's your fucking candidate. Do it. The committee is releasing the message as an example of communications within the DHS's possession in which DHS officials express concern about the CCP targeting politicians and their influence operations at the state and local levels, and specifically concerns about the CCP's influence operations as they relate to Governor Walz. Remember during the 2020, some high up CCP official was giving a speech in China in front of a whole auditorium of massive amounts, and he was like, don't worry. We got people at the top of the U.S. government. You know, like Joe Biden and Kamala, Tim Walz now. These documents were shared the same day. This is insane. Are you surprised though? I'm not. not at all. I'm also not surprised by this next story. Crazy B shared this one with me. Make sure to follow Crazy B at Crazy B8383. Crazy BEE 8383 on X. I wonder whose pockets got this money. Wall Street Silver at Wall Street Silver reporting $41 billion of World Bank's climate change fund has gone missing. Uh-oh. A little bit of money laundering over here. A little bit of secret projects, maybe. Remember the $2.3 trillion in undocumentable adjustments announced by Donald Rumsfeld at the Pentagon one day before 9/11 that nobody ever talked about again after 9/11? It's almost like they're just stealing massive amounts of money all over the place. So, pretty crazy, not surprising. Let's hop over next to this post from June highlighting Tucker Carlson's speech at MSG the other day. Really, really good speech. Tucker on point. Jones saying this may be his best speech of all time. We got a preview of it here at the start, and then we'll skip ahead to the full speech. It's only like 8 minutes. Fedora, the Explorer. Good to see you, Fedora. Hope you're having a happy Tuesday.
I saw the Grateful Dead in this arena in 1987. I was seated right there. How weird. It's such an honor to be here, and it's wild. Just another day following Bobby Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. I mean, what? That's totally normal. Liz Cheney's out there with
Lizard.
Kamala Harris. And there's Bobby Kennedy calling to protect women's sports at a Trump rally. It's a realignment.
Total realignment.
Breaking. More
Nuts.
states in play for Trump. Look at what's happening in two more safe.
Tucker's loving it. McDonald's style bulldozer. So funny. What was really funny, though, was when he was at the first rally, that first MAGA rally, and was like, I've never spoken at a political event before. And I was like, uh-oh, that's not true. And I pulled up the video of him hosting and speaking at Ron Paul's rally for the Republic in 2008. How did he forget about that, man? Ron Paul making big waves in politics lately with what's his face over there, JD Vance saying, "Oh, I realized also." He said, "I'm not a Ron Paul guy, but I have a friend who is." He was probably talking about Vivek. They've been good friends since college. Vivek is a huge Ron Paul guy. Had to have been talking about Vivek. So, given a long enough timeline and enough education, everybody's a Ron Paul guy. But let's continue here.
Blue states that are no longer safe. Those are New Mexico and New Hampshire that have got Trump leading or positive in a dead heat with Kamala. That's why they're so scared. Panic time.
And Jones is wearing sunglasses because every election cycle, right before the election, he blows a blood vessel in one of his eyes. So that happened the other day. I think it's mostly healed by this point.
Longtime Nevada early vote analyst announces code red for Kamala Harris. This guy's called all the Nevada elections going back for 40 years. That's a big deal. Fourth Circuit, though, sides with DOJ in Virginia, non-citizen voter skirmish. Next stop, Supreme Court. And even though the law in Virginia is
damn, we're having some connection issues today, too.
For decades, illegal aliens can't vote. Everybody just thinks that's the case. The feds have said no. The court has said no. The Fourth Circuit has said no, they can vote.
This sucks. What is going on with my internet connection? I've got like gigabit internet or whatever, so this should not be happening.
CNN analyst. Trump on course.
Damn. Bullshit. All right, let's hop over to this one and just jump right into the speech.
I saw Kennedy Jr. at a Donald Trump rally in Madison Square Garden. I mean, what?
With the Jones video buffer.
Normal. Liz Cheney's out there with Kamala Harris. And there's Bobby Kennedy calling to protect women's sports.
You will, Fedora, you will.
It's a realignment. It's unbelievable. And the fact that it's here is even sweeter. Imagine if you're, and just pause for one moment. Imagine you're Donald Trump. You're from New York City. You become famous in New York City. You make your fortune in New York City. And all of a sudden, the leadership of New York City decides they're going to destroy you because they don't like your politics. And so they Yeah, boo. Imagine if that were you, though. And they try and take everything that you have. They try and put you in prison. They try and put your children in prison.
That's crazy, Mandy. Sorry about that.
If that happened to you, how often do you think you'd be going back to New York City?
Never.
How about never?
Glad it's working now, though.
And yet he's here. It's like getting thrown out of a bar. And you think to yourself, well, you know, all my friends are in the bar. And you approach the door and there's the bouncer like, you're not allowed in here. But from behind the bouncer, you hear the cheers of your friend, come on in! And the bouncer hangs his head in shame. Ugh. He's embarrassed that he's working for the man trying to keep the most popular person out of the bar. And that's Donald Trump back in the city that produced him with no embarrassment at all in a room full of his friends.
A room full of Nazis, if you listen to the mainstream media. These people are clowns, bro.
To win popular vote. Think about that. Republican winning the popular vote. Last time that happened was 1988. And that's, again, in these skewed polls, it's even worse for them. And that's one reason they're now he's beginning the majority of the Muslim groups are endorsing Trump because he's anti-war. And the system is in absolute, complete meltdown. Panic mode right now.
While other networks lie to you about visiting
in extremely historic times. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024. I'm your host, Alex Jones. There's 7 days, 12 hours, 59 minutes, 20 seconds to hands down the most important election in world history.
I did not, Fedora. Send us a link if you got one.
It was 5,500 TV newscasts nationally and newspaper articles saying Trump is Hitler, going to Madison Square Garden because the Nazis.
So stupid, Wile E. Coyote. Not you. They brought this comedian in. He's a comedian famous for doing roasts. He was one of the dudes at the Tom Brady roast. He's a roast comedian. He does roast jokes, which are making fun of people and talking shit. And so he was making a joke about the Great Pacific Garbage Heap, which is like a continent-sized mass of plastic and trash that's floating out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And he said, "Man, there's this massive island, a massive floating island of trash that's out there in the ocean, floating towards America. I think they call it Puerto Rico." You know, and he was just joking. It's just a roast. He attacked everybody from all different races, and everybody's trying to turn it into like as if he's actually shitting on Puerto Ricans. Apparently, they do have a trash problem in Puerto Rico, and there were Puerto Ricans coming out saying, "Well, actually, you know, trash is piling up on the beaches, and we got big problems over here." It's not talking about people. You can make jokes about policies, like shithole countries. He's not talking about the people. He's talking about the cultures, the laws, the crime rates, that type of stuff. It's not a knock on individuals or people based on their race. It's just jokes, man. Just jokes. At least the Great Pacific Garbage Heap. Have you guys heard of that before? If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of important to know about, to understand the context of the joke, because otherwise it just seems like it's a mean-spirited attack on Puerto Rico. But that's not the case. There's actually a giant island of trash.
The world produces enough plastic each year to build 50 pyramids of Giza. That's over 350 million tons of candy wrappers, PVC pipes, and synthetic t-shirts. While most of it ends up in landfills, 8 million tons of plastic winds up in our oceans each year, where most of it finds its way into massive garbage patches around the world. And the biggest of them all is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. If you picked up each piece of plastic in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, you'd carry away about 1.8 trillion individual pieces. That's 10 times more plastic pieces than there are stars in our Milky Way galaxy.
So there's like this giant island, a continent of trash floating out there. Exactly, Mama Mac. We need that plasma arc technology to reclaim all these resources. There's investors out there. Contact me. I'll link you up with Mama Mac. And they have, she and her husband know about this stuff. We can do it. We can get rid of this stuff easy peasy and reclaim all those resources for reuse. Plasma arc technology is the way to go. Later on in the broadcast, we're also I've been talking about it for days and days and days. So we're actually going to do it today. We're going to watch a big section of The Lost Century. and how to reclaim it. The documentary by Stephen Greer documenting various energy technologies that have been stifled and suppressed over the 20th century, and how we can take these technologies and put them to use and reduce dependence on oil and solar and wind and everything, you name it. But we really need that biorefinery up and running, Mama Mac, and the plasma arc tech to go through landfills across the country, eliminate the landfills, and reclaim the resources, which we can do easy. They just don't want to do it. Why? Because they're trying to destroy us. Plasma arc technology. It's the future. Bigly, so to speak. So they got this giant, colossal continent of trash, and he jokes around and says, it's called Puerto Rico. Like, it's just a joke, man. Lighten up. You know, it's insane. These people are so pathetic, and my feces hurt. Oh, no. Like, shut the fuck up. How about that?
These were there 85 years ago. That completely blew up in their face, and it's a giant joke everywhere. They're now saying, well, Trump's dad was part German, so he's bad. I mean, that's CNN, by the way. Well, I'm half German. I guess I'm bad, too. These people are desperate. So what are they going to do is the big question. And everywhere I go, at the gas station, at the gym, at the grocery store, walking down the street, my phone blows up just 24/7. What's going to happen? And I can answer that question for you. We don't know, because the globalists aren't all powerful. And we're contending with them. And they're not exactly sure what they're going to do. They got different plans in play.
Nice shirt.
They are hesitating right now. I'm seeing a lot of signs that if
that
they steal it from Trump,
AlexJonesStore.com.
The smarter ones understand it'll be a Pyrrhic victory. They will win the battle but lose the war. So they're going to try to just infiltrate his administration and sabotage him like they did 8 years ago.
And maybe try to steal congressional seats instead of the presidency to neutralize him, even if he does win.
Starting 8 years ago. Now, that's one big camp, and I'm seeing a lot of signs that's what they're going to go with. But there's different camps in there, and the other camp is just going with full civil war, armed uprising, non-certification of a Trump win. And, of course, you don't need me to tell you that. You see it everywhere. So that's about 80% of what they're preparing for. But the 20%
that's right, Phil.
of them getting ready to capitulate just started bubbling a month ago. And within just a few days, it's happening quick. It'll probably be 30, 40, 50%. And they're trying to get that message out within their own system. But they got a lot of true believers and crazies.
That's why people like Jeff Bezos are coming out shitting on his own company, Washington Post, talking about their long and continuing fall in credibility. Unbelievable. The rats are trying to leave the sinking ship. USA Today, LA Times, Washington Post, all refusing to endorse Donald Trump, because if they go with Kamala and they keep pushing this propaganda, they are targets for fraud investigations. It's an election manipulation and contributions in kind to campaigns, etc.
And again, the globalists are not one perfect block. They've got their own factions. The Trump win is so big, and the global political realignment is so big, that if I was the New World Order, I would lick my wounds and live to fight another day. But instead, they are going full bore.
Real quick, shout out to Ismail Bash 57. Thanks for following, as well as Glenna S, VCarm 20, and Craig D on Rumble. Appreciate you guys.
Currently, to steal the election, block certification, hold it up for weeks, whatever they can do. If they can't steal it outright, they'll hold it up and try to create civil unrest, stage some false flags, blame on Trump supporters. That's all pre-programmed. And if they can't stop him, then they're going to have uprisings when he's president-elect. That's all on record. I mean, that's the official Democrat plan, that they say they're going to do it. Not just Carville, that's legislation introduced to block Trump once he's even president from stopping uprisings that are illegal. So I don't know exactly what the establishment's going to do, because there's a battle going on clearly, and they even now admit that in the news, that Democrats are preparing to capitulate. A lot of top Democrats behind the scenes are preparing for a loss. They're telling their people to prepare for it. I've got all those articles. I'll go over them. I think Tucker Carlson's 8.5-minute speech last night in Madison Square Garden was not just the best speech of the night. It was the best speech. And boy, does he give good speeches. Great speeches.
Really good.
The best ever. So that's coming up. And it's just an incredible time to be alive. But remember, this is not a spectator sport. Freedom is not a spectator sport. It is a sport where you all got skin in the game. So take the live feed, whether you're listening on local radio or watching on TV or watching us on Real Alex Show.
Freedom ain't a hobby, cuz we at the rally yelling Molan Labe. What? All right, let's jump back over to the Tucker speech. I just wanted to get to the point where Jones said it was the best speech Tucker's given. real quick, first we'll stop over here and look at this clown, George Lopez, making a joke. Millennial conservative posting at millennial_con. I think it was Gator posted this in the chat. It's called comedy. Some jokes are off color, but most sensible people can see the humor in things. And if they don't like it, they don't run around butthurt. George Lopez joked about Mexicans stealing materials needed for the border wall. And this looks like it was at a Walls rally or something.
Donald Trump said he was going to build a wall. And George Lopez said, you better build it in one day, because if you leave that material out there overnight. Donald Trump said he was going to...
Funny. I don't know what rally this is. That was pretty funny, though. All right, let's jump back to Tucker. We'll rewind back a couple seconds and continue with Tucker's greatest speech of all time, according to Alex Jones, Info General Jones. All hail, Info General Jones. JJR SVL. Good to see you, brother.
Come on in! But from behind the bouncer, you hear the cheers of your friend. Come on in! And the bouncer hangs his head in shame. Ugh. He's embarrassed that he's working for the man trying to keep the most popular person out of the bar. And that's Donald Trump, back in the city that produced him with no embarrassment at all, in a room full of his friends.
New York, baby!
The stones that takes, the bravery that takes.
New York, everybody around the world used to look at New York as just the hub of free market capitalism in America and growth and humanity, and they have just ruined. They've ruined New York, man. It's a crime against humanity.
Is incredible.
The Big Apple,
Trump's
more like the
win.
big trash heap now.
He's gonna win. I know that that's true. Why is Donald Trump gonna win? The people he's about to defeat have no idea. And they're panicked. They have no idea why people like Donald Trump. And their first theory was, well, Donald Trump is evil, so half the country's evil also. And that's one of the reasons they spent the last 4 years trying to destroy the country, because they're mad at its voters for liking Donald Trump. How much easier would it have been just to pause for 20 minutes and ask yourself honestly in some silent place, why do people like Donald Trump? And if they had been honest enough to ask themselves that question, they would have come up with the two main reasons, and here's what they are. The first reason that people like Donald Trump is because he likes them. That's why. And it's real. Affection is something you can't fake. I don't care how many times Kamala Harris would tell me she loves me, I don't believe her.
Right? And people are like, oh, well, Donald Trump's a criminal. I grew up near New York, and when I was a kid, everybody knew Donald Trump was a crook, taking advantage of people in business, doing all this bad stuff. And okay, that's fine. Sometimes people who, have a lot of power. First of all, New York business scene, total cutthroat scene. People are all criminals competing for the money and everything. So, you want to be successful, maybe you're going to have to do a little bit of shady stuff. But that's not good. I'm not endorsing that. But it takes somebody who's seen the shady stuff, who's been involved with it, who knows how fucked up the whole system and who knows the loopholes, who can succeed through that experience, come out and then be like, all right, guys, I've been there. I've done it. I've seen it. It's time to fix it. And I know all the little details, so I know how. And you can't replicate that type of situation. Donald Trump is uniquely positioned to fix things bigly in this country.
I saw her kiss her husband with a mask on. A mask on. That's her version of love. It's fake. It's not real. They spent 10 years telling you Trump is a hater. Do you feel that on him? No, you don't.
Sorry, I just had to disappear for a second to sneeze 10 times in a row.
Because it's not there. I've spent a lot of time with Trump. And there's not one moment I've ever been with him off camera where he's spending his time grousing about people he hates.
Grousing, good word.
He's talking about the people and the country he loves in his private time. Trust me. And people know, in a country that has been taken over by a leadership class that actually despises them and their values and their history and their culture and their customs, really hates them to the point that it's trying to replace them, they know someone who actually has affection for them, and that's Donald Trump. And it's requited. It's requited. They know. When he goes to McDonald's and serves fries, like, he's not faking that. at all.
Right. He's like, this country made me rich and powerful. I lived the American dream. The system is broken. I managed to work my way through it and be successful, but now I want to fix the system so to level the playing ground, to make it so that everybody can be successful without having to jump through all the crazy bullshit hoops like he did in navigating the shark-infested waters. You got to be a shark to some extent to succeed in that environment, but he's going to try to level the playing field to fix it so that everybody can become successful.
Oh, that's why that worked. Democratic media consultants are like, how is that working? Because it's real, that's why. And the second reason that people love Trump, and I put myself in this category, it's why I'm here today, is because he's liberated us in the deepest and truest sense. And the liberation he has brought to us is the liberation from the obligation to tell lies. Donald Trump has made it possible for the rest of us to tell the truth about the world around us. And that's the single most liberating thing you can do for people. If you want to enslave people, if you want to degrade them, force them to tell lies. And they have. They forced us to lie about everything at gunpoint, effectively. They put people in prison for refusing to lie. And not just the obvious lies that men can become women, or Vladimir Putin blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. No, honestly, he did. January 6th was an insurrection. They were unarmed, but it was very insurrection-y. Not even the obvious ones, but the big lie. You know what the big lie is? The big lie is that they're impressive. That's what the big lie is. That the people in charge have somehow earned the right to rule over you, and they haven't. And you know that. These are the single most useless people in the United States. They have no skills whatsoever. They've got 3/4 of the money, and they didn't earn it. They set up a system precisely for the purpose of awarding themselves wealth and power when it's undeserved. You look at Liz Cheney and you ask yourself honestly, what skill could she possibly have that allowed her to send hundreds of thousands of people to their deaths? Did she earn that? I don't think she did. No fair system would make Liz Cheney powerful. No fair system would make Larry Fink rich. No fair system would elevate someone like Kamala Harris to a presidential nomination. She's never been accused of doing anything useful. She has precisely no achievements. She's a nominee without getting a single vote. She is a metaphor for the system they created to make themselves rich and powerful, and then they have the gall to lecture you, the people who can actually change a flat tire and repair a power grid, who have useful jobs, who pay your taxes and work 40 hours a week, lecture you that you are somehow immoral. And Donald Trump has empowered the rest of us through mostly just sticking around in the face of their hate and abuse and persecution. He has given the rest of us the right to call BS on the charade. No, you are not better than us. No, you are not smarter than us. No, you do not deserve what you have. You probably stole it. No, you're not going to bully me into silence anymore. And I can promise you at this point, 9 days out, when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk and Tulsi Gabbard and pretty much every high school senior and college shorty girl in the country has come out finally saying, yeah, I am for Donald Trump, actually. When the entire country has realized there is nothing embarrassing about this, what's embarrassing is to take a perfectly great country and destroy it, as they have. I'm not ashamed. You should be. At that moment, it's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal. At this stage of the game, after 9 years of listening to their lies and finding every single one of them totally false, no, it's not safe and effective, and no, she's not impressive. It's very hard for me to believe the rest of us are going to say, you know what, Joe Scarborough, you're right. You're right. She won fair and square because she's just so impressive. I don't think so. And to me, that is liberation. It's the freedom to say what's obviously true as a free man and not a slave. And I just want to say thank you, Donald Trump, for that.
Boom. Suck it, shit libs. That's why Alex Jones is calling November 5th Liberation Day, guys. Liberation Day. A name that will live on forever. Hopefully. Jane Zirkle posted this over here. Steve Bannon. Video with him out of prison now. Looks like he's lost some weight. Fedora. Let's see. Is this a video you're talking about, Phil? Phil Panchot. If you're watching and you got another link for something that you want us to show with Steve Bannon on fire after getting out of prison, post it over in the chat and I'll be happy to play it. I just found this one, though. This is great. Steve Bannon now out of prison. Yes.
Because Kamala Harris, the Biden.
Damn. Internet gods hate me this week.
Because Kamala Harris, the Biden regime, Merrick Garland, Nancy Pelosi weaponized the justice system in this country against their political opponents. And so if that continues on, right, you may see that. If that continues on, but like I said, I am proud that I went as a political prisoner to Danbury Prison. I served my country on a Navy destroyer in my 20s, and I served my country in a federal prison in my 70s. If you're not prepared to be thrown in prison by this weaponized Justice Department, then you're not prepared to stand up and fight for your country. And I will never back down from that. Because
Bannon looking fit, looking good. Let's see what we got over here on X. Type in Bannon. Go over to media. Is this today? Let's check this out.
Thank you for coming. You know, I put and I think Raheem Kassam has just put it up.
Looks fresh.
The first statement I think I made from Danbury was about 4 weeks ago, September 26th. I said, victory is at hand. That you could see the collapse of this kind of phony campaign by Kamala Harris, the politics of joy, right? And she had nothing to back it up whatsoever. And you could see the beginning in the polls start to come our way. I'm very proud that the War Room has had President Trump's back, and it particularly has been the platform for the grassroots movement to have their voice heard. And I said at that time that with the hard work of the Get Out the Vote effort and the election integrity effort, that we were on the cusp of having. Thank you for coming. You know, I put
Sorry about that, guys.
And I think Raheem Kassam has just put it up.
1 second here. Get to the actual post. It wouldn't. I tried to full screen it, and then it.
That with the hard work of the Get Out the Vote effort and the election integrity effort,
I'll be right back.
That we were on the cusp of having an incredible victory that could actually be a potential landslide. Now we come to today, and I'm finally out of being a political prisoner by the Merrick Garland, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi regime. Okay, for standing up for my political beliefs against an illegitimate committee in the House that did not have a ranking member and did not have minority counsel. I went to a federal prison for 4 months. Now, Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris and Merrick Garland thought they were going to do two things. Number one, they were going to shut down the War Room and not have that as a voice for the grassroots movement of MAGA in this country. And number two, break me. Well, I think you can see today I'm far from broken. I've been empowered by my 4 months at Danbury Federal Prison.
It's so good.
Why was I empowered? Because I was able to listen, to observe, and to learn from working class minorities, young African American men and Hispanic men, and yes, Puerto Rican men, about what their lives are and what the queen of mass incarcerations, which is what they believe that Kamala Harris is. She refuses, and she has refused as border czar, to commence any mass deportations of illegal alien or illegal migrant criminals in this country. And today, President Trump with the angel moms actually had to say, we need to set up a form of restitution to reimburse these folks. Kamala Harris,
Lord Sterling did, Threeper.
Vice President Harris,
He lost everything
has
and
refused to
died.
do that and continue on the mass incarcerations. Now, President Trump, and quite frankly, with the visionary leadership at the time of Jared Kushner, President Trump came with the most significant prison reform bill ever created, the First Step Act.
Interestingly, Trump has basically admitted that Kushner and Ivanka were agents working against him effectively. Notice they're nowhere to be seen this time around.
And today, 6 years after and 4 years into the Biden regime, of which Biden in 2020 promised and committed to dramatically decrease the number of incarcerations in federal prisons, and nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. You know, this is criminal negligence by the highest, at the highest levels of BOP, Bureau of Prisons, and the Justice Department. You have particularly minorities, African Americans, and Hispanic men and their families being broken, rotting in federal prisons, when the First Step Act is very clear of what's supposed to happen, and all they do is get spun and spun and spun. The system is broken. Bureau of Prisons is broken. This is not about Danbury and not about the individual. I have many good individuals working at Danbury Federal Prison. The system of the BOP, the system of the Justice Department is broken. They have weaponized the Justice Department against a political movement, a conservative grassroots movement that's had President Trump's back, and from the dark days of February, March, and April of 2021 is on the cusp of the biggest political comeback in the history of this nation, led by grassroots people, everyday Americans, including, as we know now from the polling, and the reason I said we're on the cusp of a massive victory, she is failing to connect with minority men, Hispanic and African American men. Now, why is that? They understand what the scam is. They understand that this administration purposely let in millions of illegal alien migrants, illegal aliens, to drive down labor costs. The Federal Reserve said it from the very beginning. We're going to drive down labor inflation by getting more unskilled workers here and putting pressure on the lowest skilled sector we have. And they were successful, and they brag about being successful. The minority community understands that. They understand the scam and the con of what Kamala Harris has done. In addition, she has failed to do, for political reasons, the reason the First Step Act is not implemented among minorities is because Kamala Harris and Merrick Garland and Joe Biden in the White House and Nancy Pelosi understand it to be a massive political win for President Trump. And that's why they're failing to do it. They thought they would shut down the war room and take our power away. The show is bigger and more powerful than it's ever been. And please, it's not a podcast. We take the live streaming television show every day and the radio show, and we turn it into a podcast. So my brothers and sisters at CNN.
Right. This show also, not a podcast. This is a show. It's not a podcast. Is on iPods. It's all audio. I got to update the brand tag. America First show, not a podcast.
When you say the podcast number is off slightly, right? It hasn't. We were the largest podcast, but we're streaming. We stream on television, and we play on radio and online. And Nancy Pelosi thought a federal prison was going to break me. Well, it empowered me.
Never.
It empowered me.
Just made him angry.
I am more empowered today, more focused today, sharper today, in better shape today than I've ever been in my entire life. So Nancy Pelosi, suck on that.
Yeah, Steve Bannon, aka Hulk. If Trump is Captain America, Elon is Tony Stark. Steve Bannon is the Hulk, baby.
The desperation of Kamala Harris and in her campaign is obvious. They went from the politics of joy, and we were the first ones to call it, to darkness and night falls on America, and they pivoted hard. You know why? Her incoherent explanation for what the politics of joy is befuddled everybody. So she had to go back to the same playbook. Trump's a fascist. His followers are not deplorables, they're fascist. That they're a danger to the country. Well, you know who doesn't buy this? Working class people don't buy it. And particularly African American and Hispanic men do not buy it. I had a great opportunity at Danbury, and I want to thank the Education Department of Danbury Correctional Institution for allowing me to teach, yes, civics and government. I had, I think, close to 100 students in 3 different classes.
So
the majority,
awesome.
Particularly the later classes, were minority men.
Man, he made the best possible use of his time educating the prisoners.
African American,
Civics.
Hispanic.
So
lots
good.
Of Puerto Ricans, lots
He's
of
a hero.
folks in the Dominican Republic. And if you had a chance to read Vanity
Thanks,
Fair's
JJR.
cover story on our populist nationalist beliefs, you can see that it talks about economics. And it talks about the way the system works. The financial system in this country, how it's inextricably linked to the political system. And you can't understand what's going on until you understand how the economy, how the Federal Reserve, how deficits, how they play into the politics of the day. That much that you see on television is just professional wrestling when it comes to politics and is not the thing itself. And I can report to you that these young men, most of whom are nonviolent drug offenders.
Well, Threeper, I understand what you're saying with that. Those not committed to liberty do not deserve its benefits. I think everybody deserves the benefits of liberty, whether or not they understand the fight that they're in. Individuals deserve liberty. That's our right. But, I don't feel too much sympathy for people that actively work against it. That's for sure.
That have, quite frankly, a lot of years in prison. These people came to this with a new awakening, and that is the awakening the American people are going through. The system is not only broken, the system is rigged against the working class of this nation. And I saw at Danbury that we're going to move past the politics of race with an intermediate stop in the politics of gender, which is being forced on everybody right now. We're going to get to what is important, and that's the politics of money. And once we get to the politics of money, there's going to be some fundamental changes in this country.
And the Fed, the root of all evil, printing money out of thin air, the lust for money, not the money itself. But we don't actually have money. We have instruments of debt. They took our value-based money and transformed it into debt notes. It does not meet the qualifications for money, something that can be used as a transfer of wealth to facilitate trade and holds its value. Most importantly, our money doesn't hold its value. It's not money. It's debt, weaponized debt. Sorry for the connection issues we're having, guys.
I want to thank you folks for coming. I'm far from broken, and I appreciate you guys attending. And I will tell you, if President Trump's grassroots forces combine as we can combine right now, you're going to see unbelievable numbers next Tuesday. However, the Democrats are not going to give up. They just hired Mark Elias. And you only hire Mark Elias, who I think is the toughest election lawyer in the country. You only hire Mark Elias when you want to go to the mattresses. They understand they can't beat us at the ballot box. We're going to have a reprise of 2020, where they're going to try to do everything humanly possible to nullify Trump's election and delegitimize his second term. And I can tell you right now that the working class people in this country, the middle class people in this country that support John Trump are not going to let that happen.
Fuck no, we're not going to let that happen. Not one bit, to quote the Joker. Let's hop over to this next one. Gator shared in chat from Cointelegraph at Cointelegraph on X New. Janet Yellen is asked about her concerns over the U.S. dollar's world reserve status. This is a portend of things to come. Before she can respond, the Treasury Department sign crashes to the ground. Oh man, if I'm not a religious person, but if that's not a sign from God, I don't know what is.
Thank you, Colby Smith with the FT. You've described calls for widespread tariffs as deeply misguided, and the IMF today has warned that such policies will dent global growth. Can you elaborate more on the near-term economic impact of these policies and over a longer time horizon? How concerned are you about the potential impact of the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency?
Oh, man. That is insane. Wow.
Thank you, Colby Smith with the FT.
Wow, that is crazy. Thanks for sharing that, Gator. Yep, silver skyrocketing right now, $34, over $34. The system is crumbling. I can't believe that. That is nuts. And this is right as happening also as Elon Musk effectively, possibly, endorses End the Fed. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. Hoping that he goes on Ron Paul's Liberty Report as Dr. Paul requested. But man, crazy, crazy times. That right there. Asking about the dollar as the world reserve currency and then the treasury thing literally falling apart as the dollar collapses, as confidence is obliterated in the dollar and the Federal Reserve System, as Elon Musk and everybody wakes up to the Fed being the problem. J.D. Vance the other day as well. This is not looking good for the Federal Reserve. That is a sign right there where we just watched. We got a couple funny memes from people posting in the chat. So let's look through them real quick. I followed a school bus this morning on my way to the grocery store. Not a single kid in the back gave me the finger. The new generation is soft. I love that. Man, I used to flip everybody off in the back seat of the bus. Fuck yeah. That's so funny. We also have, we found it, Declaration of Memes at Liberty Cappy posting Mike Pence showing what part of Africa Kamala Harris comes from. She's black, guys. She's super duper black. And this dude is like Mike Pence. We just need a big old black fly landing on his head right over there. How about this? Why older men don't get hired. Job interview. Human resources manager. What's your greatest weakness? Old man. Oh, I'd probably say my honesty. Human resources manager. Well, I don't think honesty is a weakness. Old man. I don't give a fuck what you think. Epic. Good one, Gator. Oh, speaking of the Federal Reserve thing and the Treasury Department logo falling off, perfect timing, because next on the list is Elon possibly endorsing End the Fed. So this post was put up by Doge designer at CB_Doge, talking about Elon Musk over at MSG saying we need to reduce the annual federal budget by at least $2 trillion. Let's take a look at the clip and then we'll see Ron Paul's reaction and Elon's subsequent reaction to Ron Paul. Elon aligning with Ron Paul could be most important thing for humanity we've seen in a long time.
But we set up Doge.
We set up Doge. How much do you think we can rip out of this wasted $6.5 trillion Harris-Biden budget?
Well, I think we can do at least $2
Well, I think we can do at least $2 trillion. $2 trillion. So Ron Paul posts at Ron Paul and X. Elon cutting $2 trillion from the budget. Great idea. Not only great, but great idea. He says, start with some of the biggest welfare recipients. Military industrial complex, pharmaceutical industry complex. Oh, and end the Fed. And Elon replied to Ron Paul over here saying, needs to be done. I don't know if he's specifically just referring to cutting the $2 trillion or if he's actually endorsing these specific ideas for cutting the $2 trillion. Is Elon Musk endorsing End the Fed right here? That would be massive. That would be absolutely massive. Silver at 34.56. Nice, Gator. Huge. So Elon says it needs to be done, responding directly to Ron Paul. Ron Paul replies back, I would love to have you on my Liberty Report to discuss. And I don't think we have a response from Elon yet. But Elon on a Ron Paul Liberty Report endorsing End the Fed, getting the lowdown from the good doctor, getting the prescription to save America and restore the Constitution and bring back sound money would be absolutely massive. If Elon can influence Vivek, who can influence JD to bring him onto Ron Paul's side, or sorry, if Ron Paul can influence Vivek, who influences JD, who brings him closer to Ron Paul, if Ron Paul can influence Elon to believing in End the Fed and Ron Paul's monetary policies, Austrian economics school concepts, then JD Vance and Elon can influence Donald Trump to end the Fed and the income tax and the IRS and the Fed all at the same time. That is the prescription to save this republic. So that is pretty amazing stuff. And some related memes and posts over here that I found I wanted to go through with you guys. We got John at Anarcho Cat posting this, and the Fed with this meme. The U.S. government added $268 million of debt every hour you were asleep last night. Unreal. Look at this. This kitty cat knows that the Fed is bad as this baby is trying to survive a flood of inflation from increasing the monetary base. Oh, sorry, I thought this was on screen over here. And the Fed from Anarcho Cat. The U.S. government added $268 million of debt every hour you were asleep. This kitty cat knows what's up, protecting the baby from the flood tides of inflation that are going to be rising more and more rapidly every moment here. This one I thought was really good. Charles von Vanderheim posted this one. Can't wait for this. Here's Johnny. The Department of Government Efficiency. Elon smashing through the wall with the axe, the chainsaw of the Department of Government Efficiency, and the government freaking out over there. Beautiful. That's exactly what we need to see. And speaking of Ron Paul, if we could get Elon sitting down with him, I agree with this guy's take. Johnny McPete at John McCloy. Ron Paul is the grandfather of MAGA. Our world would be a better place if he was elected president and served 2 consecutive terms. If he had been elected president, he is a hero to many of us who helped us realize our nation is not one of capitalism now, but of crony capitalism. A true statesman. Guess what they did when he was winning the polls or gaining ground? They called him a racist. Anybody who disagreed with Obama was a racist. Now watch this video. And Ron Paul's a kook and a nut job. Now watch this video. Does this man seem like a racist to you? Ron Paul was the greatest president we never had. Agreed. 14,625.9% agreed.
It was between 1972 and 73, but it was still a lot of prejudice around this area. My wife was sick and I was trying to get some attention for her. Nobody came to check. They just left her there. Well, I believe I was left there because of the difference, me being black and her being white. And every time I would say something to the head nurse, she would get pretty upset. And then she finally called the Freeport Police Department, said I was harassing her. And I mean, I didn't know anything to do. Well, then Ron Paul come to my rescue. He just stepped in and went to work with my wife. And after he seen her, I'd say no more than 10 minutes later, she had a stillborn boy child. And he said, as far as the bill, he would take care of everything, which he did. I never got a bill from the hospital or anything. And he was a doctor of medicine, and that's what he was doing, was practicing medicine.
Bullets for teeth. Love the name. Crony capitalism is real. I've seen it happen firsthand. Yeah, that's right. Crony capitalism, a.k.a. fascism, effectively, with the government giving uneven playing ground for the benefit of giant corporations who then collude together to shut out smaller market activity. Yep, that's right. Bullets for teeth. Thanks for joining us. Love that name.
It didn't matter who and what and why. He was doing it because he think of one human being just as much as another. He's just an honest man, and that's something we need now in this day and time. It's a lot of politics and no honesty. When you have honesty, well, people will try to do anything to blot you out, and that's what they will try to do to him, is blot him out, because he will be honest.
Yep.
And they need more like him.
And that's exactly what did happen. Searches on Google for Ron Paul skyrocketed exponentially throughout the 2008 race, and media appearances fell exponentially. You could watch the trends on Google Trends and see that the more popular he got, the more the media blackout kicked in. People don't seem to understand, or people don't realize, people who are, new to the liberty movement, who joined MAGA, when MAGA was created. MAGA was formed off of the remaining kinetic energy, the kinetic grassroots energy from the Ron Paul revolution. We built this massive movement in 2008 and 2012, and then that movement carried over and turned into the rogue wave, increasing massively by orders of magnitude under Trump and MAGA. So Ron Paul is indeed the grandfather of MAGA, and I want you guys to share this post. Share this post over here with Ron Paul saying, I want you to come on the Liberty Report to discuss this. I'm posting the link in the chat on all the platforms. Go post this, tag Elon Musk. The more people share it, the more likely it's going to happen. We need it for the country, for the future. So do it. I saw this guy's post in response over here, Freethinker Fitness, at Freethinker Fit, who says, Ron Paul and Trump, reposting a post that he'd made. Today, I voted for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. I've only voted for 2 presidential candidates in my life, Ron Paul and Donald Trump. I second that. I'm in the same position. I have only ever voted for 2 presidential candidates, Ron Paul and Donald Trump. And I write in Ron Paul all over the place when I don't know who the candidates are. I just write Ron Paul. Cheddar Steve, Rear Admiral Cheese, reporting for duty. Addie's Sailor, Info Sailor. Good to see you, Cheddar. Donna, I'll be honest, until Trump, I didn't pay much attention. Now I'm awake and will not be in the dark ever again. That's right. The awakening process is unidirectional. When you wake up, you do not go back to sleep. Emergent Perspective posted this one at emergent underscore. Sounds like a radical idea. Who radicalized you? Who radicalized you? The kindest man on earth. Couldn't be more true. Couldn't be more true. Thought that was hilarious. So let's jump over to our next topic. And first, let's terminate CommieTube. Thanks, Ed, for reminding me. We are almost 2 hours in already, unbelievably. Time is flying today. So let's go ahead and terminate the YouTube broadcast here, posting the link for Rumble on YouTube and everything. So if you're watching on one of these big tech platforms, come join us on Rumble or X, where we can speak freely and the water is warm. If you can't make it, sorry to have to ditch you, but we'll catch you tomorrow on the flip side. Until then, let's get ready to rumble!